Hey guys, before you guys watch the video, I want to guys know we're working on this on the next stream. I stream on Friday through Sunday. If you guys want to check it out, we play art and games on stream. And yeah, enjoy the video. So speaking of her, Logan Paul went too far. This is what Logan Paul did. I'm curious.
Logan Paul took the time to make a cringe-filled video.
Cringe? Damn. Calling it cringe? Damn.
Attacking me and a Fred Meyer Kroger employee, but didn't take the time to address their moldy lunchlies. I wanted to respond to whatever word salad Logan Paul came up with, but I'm also going to be interviewing the Fred Meyer employee that Logan Paul publicly mocked in his video to get their perspective.
Ultimately, it was a dehumanizing thing to see myself used as a puppet because that's exactly what he was doing. He was using me as a caricature.
All right, this is the best one yet. According to X users, various retail stores have recalled Lunchly products due to FDA's concerns. The sign in the tweet reads, due to public health concerns, the FDA has recalled Lunchly products. We will restock as soon as deemed.
Bro, ever since Logan Paul's been doing these type of videos of like talking back and doing this stupid shit, it's making him look worse, man. He should just shut the F up, man. Let the lawyers handle it. Like, to look like, you know what I mean?
Fit for consumption and
like, oh my god.
That's so weird because FDA recalls are public by law, and as you can see, Lunchly is not on the FDA recall list. So hold up, that means that this sign is fake.
That is true. The sign that was posted on social media was not accurate. If he would have left it at that, I actually think this could have been a decent response. But let's be honest, Logan is not a decent dude.
Somebody typed
oh my god, still bringing up this
lie about Lunchly being recalled, taped it to the fridge, then a picture of it was taken by someone else and posted on social media as if it were real. Community notes, where you at? Anyway, I had my forensics team look into it, and they were able to find the exact location where this allegedly took place by photo matching the tweet with the gray door handle and the sales labels. Then we cross-referenced it with the locations that we distribute to.
It's a Fred Meyer, and I had someone go there. Boom, exact match. Same door handle, same tag, same products even, but hold on, where is the FDA recall sign? Also, we can see the sales data. After Lunchly was recalled, it wasn't, but after that sign was posted, we continued to sell out all of the Lunchlies that hit the shelves in that store. So who put that fake sign up? Turns out it was an employee named who said this when we confronted him, and I quote,
"It's pretty upsetting that Logan Paul is showing the outside of the store as well as posting pictures from the employee's personal social media account. Was that really necessary? It is super creepy for a massive..."
Well, I will admit this. If you're calling out somebody for, if you're making a, again, I don't know if it's true or not, by the way, but I will say this for fair criticism. If you're calling out somebody publicly, you have the right to call you out publicly. That's just my belief, right? If you are making like fake content that's like not true, like the FDA thing, whatever, and if find out you're the one who did it, they have the right to call you out, in my opinion, to a certain extent. Maybe it would have been better if they did it behind the scenes with a lawyer and all that, but this is like, again, to my opinion, if you call them out, they could call you out. But it kind of didn't. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think.
Public persona to go to a private individual's social media accounts and then post pictures of them publicly to shame them.
That was like kind of rumorized, I guess, through around here, but we had seen a posting about that, but I was the one who had written that, but since we got Lunchly back, it's been taken down. When it comes down to the actual, like, I guess, accountability of it, it was a rumor that was up in the air. Since we had heard that the FDA whole thing was kaput, we took it down. Yeah, it was more of like it wasn't like a... Anyway, hater or dumbass? I don't know, maybe both.
Oh, and I also saw this video.
As of right now, it is believed that all of the Lunchlies are being discontinued in various stores.
Yeah, that's also not true. Turkey Stack'ems are not discontinued. Stores are selling them as we speak, and they're also still on Kroger's website, which would be crazy for an item that's discontinued.
Hey, and look, I know some people are driving up to 130 miles just to find Lunchly, but please be patient as we try to ramp up production to meet the demand.
But it's just crazy to me that we're a $4 lunch kit, and in the first 4 weeks, our headquarters had a bomb threat. The FBI has identified the individual. He's based in London, which is crazy because we don't even distribute there.
A fabricated FDA recall that never happened. An attention-hungry little clout goblin who has made it her entire identity speak negatively on all things Mr. Beast.
An attention-hungry clout goblin? I literally... Spoiler alert, that's you guys, not me. You can't come up with an original song. Didn't you literally get sued for copying someone else? Then you can't come up with an original food line. And now you can't even come up with an original insult for me. Boom, what's this? This is when I called you a money goblin.
An attention-hungry little clout goblin.
I think there's someone hanging right there.
An attention-hungry little clout goblin.
Coffeezilla, you're slimy as. Thank you, Coffeezilla. And I am
Damn,
very grateful for your
dude.
work and your investigation.
An attention-hungry little clout goblin.
Oh
Fiesta
my
nachos,
God.
personal favorite.
Clout
Bro, I think if you post content publicly on the internet, you should be offended by the reactions or response you receive that are in public. Wait. I think if you post content publicly on the internet, you should be offended by the reactions or responses you receive that are public. You mean not offended or like should be offended? Do you mean not offended? Am I reading it right? I'm thinking not offended. It should be not offended by the reactions or responses. Because again, because I always say this, like if I post content that's cringe or not good or whatever, and people call me out on it, it is what it is. I put it in public. That's the harsh truth about content creating. Shouldn't be offended. Okay, I read that wrong, then. Bro, his wife's giving birth, and this guy's promoted his lunchly.
goblin.
Yeah, like I like my cheese moldy, bro.
Clout goblin. Clout goblin. Clout goblin.
Damn.
made a severe and continuous.
Well, I will. Like, I'm trying to keep it fair, guys. She is using Mr. Beast and Logan Paul for views and clout. Like that is not like not true. You know what I mean? This is 100% fact at this point. Now, do I disagree with what she's doing? Hell no. She has every right to do this. Like I said, you put content as publicly, they have every right to do content back at you. You know what I mean? Like, look, Logan Paul, this one. But you get the idea. Lunchly. Mr. Beast. In the past 3 months, she made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 videos in the past 3 months about Mr. Beast and Lunchly. Now, is that okay for her to do? 100%. Could you call her a clout goblin? I guess. Fine, whatever. But she has every right to do that. You put your content on the public. She has every right to make content to go against you. If she has to find something to go against or criticize legitimately, or I don't know if it's real or not, but I think it's real. But like I said, I'm keeping it fair. Like it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Lapse in my judgment.
And we'd love to think this is all just a coincidence, but it's a nah. We call it cap. The fact is, the USDA
Since you posted it publicly, you gotta yeah, exactly.
every finished food lot and approves it.
Not everything's all legit, by the way, but yeah.
Issues happen in transit, like seal breaking, or at the store level with rough handling. But just like any produce you buy, problems can arise.
Did he seriously just call his Lunchly product produce? Logan, did you even do a Google search before making this video? Ultra-processed foods, which Lunchlys are, they fall in that category, are not produce. To imply that Lunchly is just like any other produce you buy is misleading. I also find it pretty interesting that he seemed to be basically blaming how their product is shipped or handled by the store partners for the mold. Do you think it's possible that they weren't packaged the best at the source, Logan?
But at the end of the day, the product speaks for itself. In our first 5 weeks in Kroger, we've already outsold Lunchables and comparable SKUs that also sell drinks inside. We're going to keep innovating and improving our product as we attempt to disrupt this archaic industry that's been run by the same corporate giants for the past 120 years. It is a new era, and the ops are going to have to try harder.
All right, now without further ado, let's get to the interview. This is with Casey, who works at Fred Meyer and is the one who posted the sign, and his partner Riz. So, Casey, can you tell us a little about yourself?
Yeah, well, so I moved to the area about 3 years ago, started working at Fred Meyer again. I had worked there a couple of years ago, and started with like overnight freight and was just, stocking shelves at the overnight hours and stuff. And then eventually the opportunity came for me to actually get promoted and start management over there. So I became their closing relief manager, which basically means I oversee the intake of freight and everything. But basically, yeah, I worked really hard to get to where I am. And like, I met her very recently, and so I've started the family life and started being a father to her children, or rather a stepfather, and finding my place in things and really finding where I belong. And it's been really an enriching experience. She's been wonderful with my dogs, which I treat like children, and I've been trying to be as good as I can for her children as well. Um, but yeah, so just typical guy, decided to focus up on the things that I can control and the things that matter to me, and overall that meant having a family and settling down. And ultimately, the more I did that, the more my happiness grew. So
Right on. And are you able, like, can you walk us through what happened?
yeah, so around the beginning of October, there was a listeria outbreak at a major chicken distributor. And so over the course of the beginning of October, there was numerous recalls issued for a bunch of different brands due to contaminated chicken. And I was the one that was put in charge of overseeing pulling the recalled items from the shelves and posting the signs. I had finished a bunch of different products on the aisles near the Lunchley section. And as I was passing by, I noticed that it was completely empty and that there was this item is temporarily out of stock stickers. So I was curious because I had noticed that had been out for a while, and I walked up to my boss and asked, should I post a sign, do you think? And he's like, well, it's going to take me a sec because I'm super busy. I'm going to have to look for the sign, but I do believe that it was on the recall list. So you can go ahead and do that, and I will I will find the actual recall notice and put it up. And if it's not been, I'll pull it down. And we're like, yeah, great. And within a few days, we had been shipped new Lunchley products, so they had been stacked up, and we pulled the sign down. Actually, I didn't even pull the sign down; somebody else did. I came to work and saw it had been pulled down, and they had been stocked. So I was like, oh, great, cool, more product to sell, great. Then suddenly, out of the blue, I heard that somebody had taken a photo of this and posted it online. And I found this out by a Lunchley's representative that came into my work at like 9 at night and was asking me a bunch of really odd questions. And it was starting to get a little borderline.
Okay, so there you go. Right now, that means he did not deserve to be criticized. Then there you go. Now that I know more information, he's not the one who posted it on the public. He posted it on like the sign because the FDA was also a legit thing that did happen, right? And he did put the sign because that's one of the listed products. It's not his fault that someone took a picture and posted it online. So Logan Paul, they fucked up. There you go. There you go. He 100% fucked up. He did not do the research. It's like, are you going to put up a sign? Yeah, because this, and that. Oh, okay. Are you the one to post it online? No. Oh, okay. Oh, this is why Logan Paul needs to shut up, man.
Harassing because I was in the back room, and he followed me into the back room to ask me if I had known about numerous different people, specifically this other person named Casey, which I thought was strange because I was like, not all Caseys know each other. You know that, right? And so I was like, because he kept asking me about my Twitter presence, which is non-existent. I don't have a Twitter account. This guy asked me a bunch of questions regarding Lunchley, and then I brought him over to the Lunchley section per his request, and I was like, see, it actually still has some on the shelf here, and as you can see, there is a which is funny because the photos that they sent showed that it was out of stock, even though there was one in stock when they were there. But in any case, there was no sign there. The sign had been pulled down, as I had told him. It had been pulled down within a few days. And that overall it was a mistake that I made in the process of recalls. However, it was an approved mistake through my manager. And when it came down to it, we both shared repercussions in the whole thing.
What were the repercussions that happened to you after the Lunchley rep left?
So I had my 2 days off because he came in on my Friday, to which I prepared for Halloween as normal, as everything as planned. Out of the blue, this video just suddenly hits me, and I show up to it had been seen by everybody at work. So everybody already knew what was up, and everybody was acting like somebody had died around me, which I was like, guys, it's
What?
just some jerk on the internet.
With a lot of
And
views.
like, basically they all kind of tiptoed around me, and then I got called into HR, or rather I had insisted talking to HR about it because I wanted to know if I was okay to work. And then she told me to return. I got called in, and then when it came to the conversation, they were very warm about it. They're like, look, we kind of have to suspend you just because we don't know what else to do. This has never happened in the entirety of the company's history. um, and we're trying to, mitigate your suffering when it comes to the community, because there are people who have seen this and will recognize you. Even though I'd like shaved my beard, and even though I was wearing a beanie pretty low over my face and everything, it was still wasn't enough. And I stand by my company's decision, because ultimately they are doing damage control. Their name was thrown under the bus too. The Fred Meyer name, which I've trusted pretty much my entire life, is suddenly under
Same.
fire as well.
I grew up in Seattle, Washington. I love Fred Meyer.
I never heard of Fred Meyer.
Shop there all the time. I'm a big Freddy's fan. What's on your list today? You'll find it at Fred Meyer. That jingle is in my head for the rest of my life.
The days where you could push the button and hear the talking cows.
Wow. Wow. Are you being paid right now while you're on leave?
I'm not. No. I'm not being paid. Basically, they gave me suspension without pay, and it's pending investigation. So if I do go back to work, if they allow me to come back to work, they'll determine how much time I should have been suspended for, and then back pay me. However, with there being a controversy at this Freddy's already, I don't know how well that whole thing is going to play out for me.
Is it normal for a brand rep to approach you unannounced, like in that way?
It depends. So sometimes we'll be approached by a brand rep, but it's never usually a confrontational thing. And this very much reeked of that, like to the point where the people at the front end that had nothing to do with the conversation, even before the conversation had started, were like kind of uneased by the representative even being there. And because he didn't really have a friendly presence. So it was one of those things that typically when it comes to the people coming through as representatives, they're trying to set up a display to sell something. And so we were going forth when it came to the Lunchleys thing. He said, hi, I'm a representative of Lunchleys. And we're like, oh, okay, hey. And like, we assumed he wanted to set up some kind of display. And then suddenly he's like, I heard about this picture. We're like, what picture? And he shows us this photo. We're like, oh, well, what's up? And yeah, it was an odd thing. Is just that because usually they also operate within business hours, which 9 o'clock at night was not business hours. And I gave them my my information, like my full name, because they had asked to
Wait, can they do that?
like communicate through my corporate office.
Wait, hold on. Can they really do that?
The next day, but this was right before launching the giant video smearing me all over the internet.
Right.
So yeah, it was unprecedented because they did both. They technically did travel through the proper channel, but then immediately went to just completely bashing me and bullying me all over the internet. And it's like,
well, that's Logan Paul. That's not the company Lunchley. I don't think so. I don't think Lunchley, the company, was like, hey, Logan Paul, make a video about this guy and shit talk him. I think Logan Paul was just a dumbass.
Whoa, dude, like seems like kind of a disproportionate response for someone who hates on Karens so much to act like one.
Did Logan Paul ever reach out to you?
Personally, no. He just sent his representative to get information, and then from what I could tell, the entirety of his video was based off of like the first 30 seconds of our interaction where I was caught off guard. And then after also pressing me for
I'm proving it wrong.
the same answer over and over until they got a very simplified version of it. Because what I had said on to them was that it was a mistake on my behalf, to which I will ask my managers to retrain me on the recalling process, and overall, it will not happen again. And I can see how it affected your brand negatively. So I definitely don't have a reason not to move forward in that way. I definitely see how I did wrong, and yeah, we'll go from there, and definitely send an email to my managers and get the whole thing straightened out. And I thought that they were going to operate in good faith is the thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, how many Lunchly items total do you think that your store received? Like, Logan showed about $100 in sales at your store. Is that roughly accurate?
I would say so. Ultimately, it didn't seem like the sign had any effect on his sales, and even he, in his own video, said that. He's pointed out that the sales weren't affected by this whole thing. So, I'm a little confused as to the anger and the frustration coming from him, because it's like, you do realize that people make mistakes, right? And that I'm not an idiot just because I made a mistake.
Right.
Calling me a dumbass hit a little hard, considering I'm autistic, and so it's one of those things that oftentimes I have trouble communicating myself, and that's just the thing. Is if you come up to me in a confrontational manner, it disturbs my equilibrium. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
anybody in that situation could understand.
After you posted the sign, were you the one who took the photo and posted it
No, I
online?
didn't take the photo. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
See,
who
that's
that
why
was.
it's like
I
it was.
understand how, obviously I wasn't speaking for the FDA. That wasn't my intention. My intention was just
Yeah.
to look out for my community during a listeria outbreak. And the funny
Right.
thing is like, had somebody bought one and been like, hey, we want to try a Lunchly, I probably would have. And now I probably will never even touch the stuff.
As I'm talking to you right now, it's very casual, and I just don't understand why Logan Paul made fun of the way you talked. Like,
Was nervous, and ultimately I think that his goal was to use me as a commercial, and I'm a free commercial to the guy. And
mhm.
ultimately it was a dehumanizing thing to see myself used as a puppet, because that's exactly what he was doing. He was using me as a
Damn,
caricature. And
that's true. I mean,
while
that's what content
I
creators
have
do, man.
experience with that sort of thing in the past, being that I've my likeness has been used in like my friends' videos and stuff for film festivals, but like and so like I'm used to that sort of thing, because that has my consent. But this whole thing just it came out of nowhere, and I was just like, cool, this guy uses me as a free advertisement, and anybody who knows me knows it absolutely isn't true. And apparently a lot of comments also agreed that they were like, dude, you're overreacting.
Yeah, were the photos of you and the store Logan shared in his video accurate?
They were. Yeah. Yeah, he
Mhm.
showed the front of my store, which if you can geo-track based off of handles and store fixtures, I'm pretty sure you can geo-track based off of that. So my safety is kind of, I feel, in jeopardy, because he's got some pretty crazy fans. And like, I mean, I'm sure everybody
That's true.
does, but like when it
That's
comes down
true.
to it, it's one of those things that, being that I just started my fatherhood role and I want to protect these kids that I'm looking after, it's one of those deals that I'm staying on edge pretty much all the time, even though I don't look like it. And that might be why I'm so calm right now, is I'm also a little exhausted from it.
I'm so sorry. I it really bothers me for you, who's someone who works at a store that sells food, and it's a very normal thing. It happens in food to have recalls here and there, and then you deal with it and you talk to the brand reps and you get back on the same page and you move forward. And just because a sign accidentally went up for 2 days, the reaction being so aggressive and potentially even like you having repercussions and potentially even losing a job, it just seems like a huge overreaction. And I am just really, yeah, disappointed. Like, I wish Logan and the other people who own Lunchly, and this is their brand, I wish that they would actually take those accounts of mold seriously and spend their energy, instead of just making their brand look good, but take that energy and why don't you hunt down the cases of mold?
The world will understand if the products that you put out have an issue, And the thing is that just as the world understands that sometimes grocers make mistakes, and that ultimately I was okay with reprimandation over the mistake, but I'm not going to handle crucifixion over it. Like, and that's
No.
just it, is like, that's what he was aiming to do, was hang me out to dry, use me as a commercial, and peddle his own brand. Um, I understand the business practices of it, as unethical as it is. It's a smear campaign. And
Yeah.
that's overall, I'm like, I understand if you want to do that towards Lunchables because they're your main competitor, but dude, I don't even know anything about you other than like, I stopped following you after the Suicide Forest thing, so what's your
Yeah.
issue? So funny enough, the same day that this had all happened, like hours maybe before, I had received a medical bill out of nowhere for $1,000. And so
What?
I'm like sitting there, I'm like, okay, what's this for? And turns out that it's because a year ago I had been in the ER for some heart issues. Heart was kind of beating irregularly at times. And it was right around the time that I had been promoted to the new Fred Meyer. Yeah, so I have that. In addition to that, my car also took a crap on me about a month and a half ago, and has just been sitting. So I've been commuting by bike. And in addition to that, I also have a Malamute that had some of his hair fall out. So I had to bring him to the vet. And it turns out that he had, had some issues with his undercoat and stuff like that. So we had to get him groomed. But the whole process there, basically just with all that stuff, it's just depleted my savings so much that I'm starting to get a little worried about my bills. And now that I'm suspended, it's making things a little bit more taxing, especially wanting to provide for children. It's
Yeah.
Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. So it makes it a little hard to give them the things that they want. But luckily, a lot of that was mostly bought before I ran out of money. While there's a bunch of shitty things happening in life, there is also a bunch of blessings. And when it comes down to it, the biggest one I have is the family that I've just acquired and that I want to stick with, and that has become my world. So,
Oh, you guys
Oh, so weird.
mentioned something to me
Kidding.
about like how
Kidding.
busy you guys were during with these shipments. Can you just like walk us through that? Like how
I was
busy
kidding, guys.
that
By the
time
way, I'm
was?
kidding. I'm kidding.
so this is something that happens every year, and this is something that everybody should know about their grocery stores, is that around Labor Day, things get crazy. The back room is crazy. We're all working
Oh,
extremely
that's
hard.
true.
And I remember
I seen
the
it.
boss that I was asking was right in the middle of down stacking a pallet 7 foot tall with a bunch of tiny little boxes, because this just so happens to fall underneath something that we have to do, is handle these tiny things within a time period, because otherwise our next crew is not set up for success. And so we were scrambling, and the bottom line is that we made a mistake in that scramble. And generally speaking, I don't even think the FDA would have too much of an issue with what had happened. They're just like, yeah, the guy made a mistake, and that's just that. He took it down. And like it was in such a timely manner that even if we were to have received a cease and desist letter from Lunchly, it would have already been taken down. It just baffles me that this whole thing erupted the way it did, because it did not happen.
I think because like lunch days, we get a lot of
I don't
bad
know.
rap.
I mean,
They'd be
I
like,
guess I was
we
just
don't
the
need
guy's
anymore.
target of the week, but he's getting a little unhinged in my opinion. And
Yeah, I agree.
He's always
Talking
been
to you, I can
unhinged.
just feel how genuine you are. And I want people like you handling food because you are someone who cares about the people. You have a concern for their safety and erring on the side of caution, in a situation where there's a lot of like outbreaks and recalls, especially with like meat and dairy right now. I think that what you did is not a big deal. And it really was looking out for
It
the
became a big deal
people,
when
and
Twitter
it
posted
didn't
it
impact
online.
their sales. And I really don't like how these guys run their business, and they treat people and they bully people that they think make them look bad. You guys are amazing, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me. And I'm so sorry that you had to go through all of this. And Logan
Give
Paul
him
should have
money.
handled it like an adult.
Give him money.
I mean, I think the guy's
and
older
You
than
have
I
enough
am,
money
so
now.
I agree.
I'm going to be starting a GoFundMe, and all of the proceeds, every cent, are going to be going to Casey and his partner Riz. I think that Logan Paul ganged up on him, and ruining the lives of real, everyday, hardworking people is not okay. I'll be putting the link down below to the GoFundMe if you'd like to show some love and support. I personally am going to be donating $1,000 to cover his medical bill, and I will continue to keep you guys updated. Bye.
I don't know, man. That sounds sus. Just kidding. Just kidding. Let's see. How much money has it raised? 3,000 right now. It's only been what? 4 hours. It's already almost at 4,000 already. Anonymous donated 1,000. Another 1,000. Let's see. Logan, the man who filmed a disease. Bro, they're never gonna let that go. With obvious reason, they're never gonna let that go, man. The fact that Logan, with his massive following, is comfortable with literally doxing someone is extremely concerning. There should be absolutely legal repercussions against him. Yeah, I think he fucked up because like he's not the one who posted it online for malice intent. He just posted it on a safety intent on the grocery store. You know what I mean? It was a safety intent. It wasn't a malice or got you now, bitch intent. So I think he messed up on that. He should never call him out. This is why Logan Paul should not do call out videos at all, especially around this time. You just keep quiet, make content, make fun content, not controversial content, and let the lawyers handle it. That's it. That is it. But yeah. We'll see what's gonna happen in the due time. But I just want to I didn't want to like fully interrupt when he was saying right now because again, I want to tell like let me hear the story. You know what I mean? Let me hear the story. I think a lawyer could take this case pro bono. It's defamation, harassment, and cyberbullying. This poor guy just wants to work his job and support. Does not inspect monthly. That's not what they do. They expect raw meat and poultry and eggs shipped naturally internationally. People really should look into what is and isn't expected. Excuse me, Fred Myers should back their employees. The thing is, they cannot back their employees because they don't know how to deal with it of like online harassment or whatever for their brand and their things. Like they're like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? Because like if they say, oh hey guys, the employee that made a mistake, whatever, he got suspended. People will be happy with that, I guess. I don't know, but remember, he will get back pay if he is back, which I'm pretty sure he will be back. You're just trying to like when the story dies down, when the next story pops up, which will happen very soon, guys. Let's be honest. But yeah.